أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقال فرعون يا أيها الملأ ما علمت لكم من إله غيري فأوقد لي يا هامان على الطين فاجعل لي صرحا لعلي أطلع إلى إله موسى وإني لأظنه من الكاذبين.
Over 3 successive days, beginning on April 8th, the book was channeled through Crowley while in a trance. This snake spirit begins the revelation by telling man that he is a god, by telling man that he is a god, by telling man that he is a god.
You know, this secret gives you everything you want. Happiness, health, and wealth.
You can have, do, or be anything you want.
We can have whatever it is that we choose. I don't care how big it is.
What kind of a house do you want to live in?
Do you want to be a millionaire?
What kind of a business do you want to have?
Do you want more success?
What do you really want?
I've seen many miracles take place in people's lives. Financial miracles, miracles of physical healing, mental healing, healing in relationships.
All of this happened because of knowing how to apply the secret.
This is the great secret of life.
Il y a notamment des physiciens, des médecins qui donnent un point de vue positif là-dessus en soutenant qu'à certains égards, il y a même un fondement scientifique à cette loi. Des auteurs viennent de répondre dans un livre qui s'intitule « Enquête sur le secret » et disent que le secret, ça marche pas, c'est un mensonge et que c'est même dangereux.
Yoga goes all the way back to the Hindu who is called Yogeshwara, meaning Lord of Yoga. You find yoga being taught in several of the major Hindu scriptures. Krishna, one of the many Hindu gods, was an advocate of yoga. Yoga is also mentioned in the Gita as the main means to attaining salvation. The word means basically to yoke, union. The goal of the Hindu is to be yoked with Brahman. Brahman is the Hindu concept of God, the all or the absolute.
Yoga, in its many westernized forms, is also at the heart of the New Age movement that has adopted Hinduism's basic beliefs and goals. In spite of the seeming variety in hundreds of competitive schools of yoga, all forms come out of India and lead into the occult, though most Westerners are not aware of this.
Why are we seeing millions of people embracing yoga and practices that for millennia have been recognized as the foundational parts and practices of shamans and witches and mediums and psychics and spiritualists and the mystery religions.
Yoga techniques include breathing exercises, or prana, positions called asanas, dissolving the mind, known as laya, psychic powers called siddhis, repetitious chanting, named mantra.
Another word for mantra is charm, or to cast a spell, if you will. And in mantra yoga, a word or a phrase or the name of a demon god is repeated over and over and over again to bring the individual to a vibration level that will attract that which is being chanted for, to bring about the desired effect. It's exactly what the white witches and magicians, so-called, use in the casting of their spells.
And deliberately cultivating black magic, known as Tantra.
Tantra yoga is the extreme expression of Hinduism. If you will, it's the black and so-called white magic in which the Shakti, the Kundalini force, is aroused, the psychic powers that accompany it are in full bloom, and the individual, depending on his personal preference, can channel this force either into the black magic, which includes rites of meditating upon severed heads, human heads in India, and eating bits of flesh and the unconsumed parts of the cremation rites and other practices, horrifying practices. Or they can take it into what they call the white magic part of it, in which they are using this power, this force, for healing, for the benefit of mankind, if you will. Yet Anton LaVey, the Pope of the First Church of Satan, has said it very explicitly. He said that to believe there's any such thing as white magic is mythology. There is no such thing as white magic. All of it has its source in occult psychic power, and it has nothing whatever to do with God.
This is the significance of the altered state of consciousness reached in yoga and other forms of Eastern meditation. A Nobel Prize winner has described the brain as, quote, a machine that a ghost can operate, unquote. What that means is, in an altered state of consciousness, the connection between my spirit that normally operates my brain and my brain is loosened, and that allows another spirit being to interpose itself.
Let's use this metaphor. If you think about Aladdin and his lamp, you've probably heard of that one. I mean, Aladdin picks up the lamp, he dusts it off, and out pops the genie. And the genie always says one thing.
Your wish is my command.
You know, the universe is this great genie, and your conscious mind is Aladdin. It formulates the intention of what you choose for your life.
فوسوس لهما الشيطان ليبدي لهما ما وري عنهما من سوآتهما وقال ما نهاكما ربكما عن هذه الشجرة إلا أن تكونا ملكين أو تكونا من الخالدين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
But once you reach a certain frequency, due to evolution, you have the ability also to create beings. You have the ability also to create beings.
Well, another word for the New Age movement is the consciousness revolution. And they're telling us that everything is in states of consciousness.
And what we really are is consciousness. Infinite consciousness connected to all other consciousness, the seamless ocean of infinity. And we can move our point of observation around that consciousness and express and celebrate its uniqueness, but we are all of one infinite mind, one infinite consciousness. Infinite love, infinite consciousness. The existence of an infinite consciousness is the only truth. Everything else is illusion. It's the imagination of that consciousness made manifest. We are infinite consciousness, having it experience. There's nothing to survive. There is nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. The law of attraction, they call it. I've been talking about this for years. A consciousness which I call body consciousness, which is disconnected from its awareness of the full magnitude of what it is, to the point where it operates on a fraction of its true self and its infinite potential. So in that sense, you can get all that has been, is, and ever will be. You can get all that has been, is, and ever will be.
You can have, do, or be anything you want.
We can have whatever it is that we choose. I don't care how big it is.
This is the way the Egyptians depicted Horus, and this is Jesus. The halo around the head was the way the ancients depicted that the person was a sun god. Here's the Jesus halo. Well, this is an ancient standing stone of Bel, the sun god, with a halo around his head, depicting he's a symbol of the sun. This is Mithra, another ancient son of God figure. The story that they tell of him is just the same as the one they tell of Jesus, in great detail. These is two others who are different versions of the same story. Dionysus of Greece and Bacchus of Rome. Dionysus was born, this is long before Christianity.
The idea that Jesus is a copycat solar deity has been propagated by the self-taught Egyptologist and practicing Druid Gerald Massey. Gerald Massey wrote for the Theosophical magazine entitled Lucifer, published by Mme Blavatsky.
Broadly speaking, the story of Horus is as follows. Horus was born on December 25th of the Virgin Isis Mary. His birth was accompanied by a star in the east, which died on the cross, was dead for 3 days, only to be resurrected or born again.
There were actually devices that were planted in the building.
The central bank is an institution that produces the currency of an entire nation. Based on historical precedent, two specific powers are inherent in
appeals to racial, sexual, religious chauvinism, to rabid nationalist fervor are beginning not to work. A new consciousness is developing which sees the earth as a single organism and recognizes that an organism at war with itself is doomed.
What you just said sounds exactly like Satanism. Not saying that you are satanic.
I don't believe in Satanism. If you want to use that word,
you know what Satanism
that's your own,
is?
that's
you know
your
what
own
Satanism
idea.
is? Atheists. People who do not believe in a God. People who believe that man is God. That's what
that's
Satanism
correct.
is.
You are God.
Okay, then you are a Satanist. That's what
that's
Satanism
correct.
is.
You are God.
Okay, then
إذ قالت الملائكة يا مريم إن الله يبشرك بكلمة منه اسمه المسيح عيسى ابن مريم وجيها في الدنيا والآخرة ومن المقربين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Jane Roberts was a New Age pioneer who channeled a spirit known as Seth. Roberts sold more than 1 million copies of her books and inspired many.
And we borrowed a Ouija board. We didn't even buy one. And after, I forget, once or twice or something, we started to get stuck on the board. And after only maybe 5 or 6, 7 sessions with that, Seth came through vocally. I would start to know what was going to be said, and then I would start to want to speak.
Okay.
Well, after the board sessions stopped, as they did very quickly, I just began speaking the words automatically for Seth without knowing what I was saying. The script, again, the title was The Physical Universe as Idea Construction. The idea being that everything is a result of idea and has consciousness. The idea being that everything is a result of idea and has consciousness.
Really, the main message that Seth is trying to say is that people are gods in training.
Some may find it interesting that the name Seth is synonymous with the Egyptian god, Set, and in the realm of the occult, Set is one of the infernal names of Satan. In 1888, Blavatsky published her now famous work, The Secret Doctrine, a book revered by occult practitioners all over the world.
In The Secret Doctrine, she wrote, "And now it stands proven that Satan, or the red fiery dragon, the Lord of Phosphorus, and Lucifer, or light-bearer, is in us. It is our mind, our Redeemer, our intelligent liberator and savior from pure animalism."
Adolf Hitler reportedly slept with a copy of this book at his bedside. Blavatsky subtitled the work, The Synthesis of Science, Religion, and Philosophy. The Secret Doctrine is filled with ancient mystery wisdom that more than a century later continues to hold New Age readers spellbound. Continues to hold New Age readers spellbound.
There's no way that a girl with a 6th or 7th grade education could possibly have written this. These volumes were channeled to her by a demonic spirit she called Kuthumi. And she actually traveled to Tibet, to India, and she claims that she actually went to Tibet and actually met her master there.
Well, he's basically not only the father of modern Satanism and the most highly regarded Satanist of the last century, he is also the father of the modern New Age movement. Altered states of consciousness, trying to make altered states of consciousness scientific, through whether it be hallucinogens and seeing reality different, whether it was drugs, whether it was astrology or the practice of ritual magic, whether it was sex magic, whether it was his ideas of world unity through magic and so forth. All these are very popular through the 1960s and after that in ushering in what today is called the New Age movement.
I sat on the back hood with my feet in the back seat, and I said to them, I said, look, I know you're here, okay, and I want you to know that I don't mind doing whatever it is I'm supposed to do. If I've got a destiny in life or a mission or whatever it is, I don't mind doing it. But if it has something to do with you, then I'm going to ask you for two favors. Do not abduct me, because I don't want to go anywhere. And don't frighten me in my bedroom. I don't want to wake up and find something in my bedroom I can't handle, okay? So don't mess with me, and don't scare me to death, and I don't want to go anywhere. But if I'm supposed to do something, if there's a divine plan of some sort where I'm supposed to play, then open the doors, show me what I am to do, and leave me alone. And I thanked them, and I got back in the car and drove back, and that was it. The candles and lighting candles and doing some sort of a little ritual thing, and I'm just laying there watching her. I mean, Paul says she's great. We'll find out. And she's talking to someone, and I'm laying there watching her, and she's talking to someone. And then she goes on lighting some more candles, and then she starts talking again, and then she's laughing. And I said, what are you laughing at? And she said, oh, they told me something funny about you. And I said, what? And she said, they said that about a month ago you drove up to see Joe and Pat up at Little Alien in a convertible you rented, and you sat on the back of the hood with your feet in the back seat, and you told them you didn't mind doing what you're supposed to do, but you didn't want to be abducted or frightened in your bedroom, and they thought that was funny. I said, whoa, nobody knew I did that. No one knew I did that. I didn't tell anyone. And she says, well, and I'm just telling you what she said. She said, they are Pleiadians, and they have brought you here to do something. And you are ultimately going to be a emissary, was the word, an emissary for them. They're going to channel through you. They're going to use you, and they will speak through you. They're going to channel through you. They're going to use you, and they will speak through you.
David Icke, the former footballer, television presenter and Green Party spokesman, hit the headlines when he claimed that spirit forces had chosen him to lead a campaign to save the world.
I am in contact and in communication with those at the highest levels of creation who are passing on this information. You see, you're shaking your head, my friend.
Can I ask you then, you're saying you're in contact with the highest communications. Would that be God, or...?
But with the being we call the Godhead, certainly. But you see, how do you think...
What Christians would call God?
What Christians would call God. You are in direct communication with God. That's where you get your voices from and everything else, yeah?
Correct.
Is that what you're saying? Right.
Who are all made in the image of the infinite creator, and what that means is you are all infinite creators. We thank you.
You are all connected to the creative source of this universe, and nothing can stop that flow except your denial that you are God.
I wondered if back when you were involved in spirit worship, if they talked about New Age at all.
Oh yes, it was a big thing that was coming up. One of the major deceptions of the last days. Major deceptions of the last days. Major deceptions of the last days.
the false Messiah, Dajjal.